It's called Why Should You Try Hard in FF14. The Queen of Final Fantasy. Alright. Let's go.
Hey Buns, so listen, lately I've heard a lot of y'all say things like, I'm not good enough for Savage, or Ultimates are way beyond me, I could never do something like that, or I'm really scared if a little girl is gonna beat me up in the extreme trial. All of that will remain true as long as you keep standing in your own way and you keep making arguments in favor of your own perceived flaws and shortcomings, rather than focusing on what you're already doing right and what you can do better. And look, I know there are plenty of people who are happy just doing casual stuff and hanging out in G-Pose, and honestly G-Pose is its own skill, so I'm not talking to those people today. Like G-Pose, roleplay, fanfiction, there's plenty of other ways to enjoy the world of Final Fantasy 14 that involve their own skills. That's not what I'm talking about here today. I just want to be clear, today I'm focusing on actually improving your skill at the game, like the job performance and hard battle content, improving as a player, doing more damage, doing more healing.
Look, I know, like, people always have questions when, like, someone who is known to be a more casual player talks about this stuff, but, like, honestly, you should be happy that even more, like, casual influencers are encouraging people to try harder. I think that's really the point to take away. And this isn't the first time either. Like, Zepla is all for, like, like, people getting better. It's just, like, not really what her content is about, if that makes sense.
Being more of an effective player, and people often think about these things that feel intimidating, these types of content that seem sort of pie in the sky for them. That's how they perceive it. I did.
Maybe she isn't now.
I was terrified to take my first extreme trial and think of those things, and they're like, well, why bother? You know, if I can just, there's plenty of good stuff to do in the game that doesn't require perfect play and isn't as punishing, and I can still just kind of toot around. And honestly, thank the 12 that not all the content in 14 is brutal and ridiculously hard, because that would be suffocating if the game was such that there was nothing chill to do to, you know, relax in. But with the ultimate race going on this week, and this particular one being so crazy and captivating to watch, I've been casting it for Mog Talk a couple of days this week. This has stirred up a lot of interest.
I must say, I did enjoy, like, I wasn't really watching streams myself, because one, I was progging, and two, I was just too mentally drained to, like, really watch others when I wasn't progging. But, like, all the memes that came out of this race, just second to none, man. Like, fucking Christ. Oh my god, just, like, reading my spoilers channel in Discord just popping off. Just, like, popping off with all the memes. Holy shit, dude.
In hard content for people that had otherwise never considered it. But now I see people considering it and then immediately stopping themselves from getting on the path that would actually take you there by saying that they feel inadequate or unmotivated or unconfident, or it's just so far beyond me, it's impossible, you know, even as they dream about what it would be like to be in a group that manages to save redacted, you know, save our boy, to have that chance to personally go back and see things go down differently. Like, that is a very appealing prospect that has piqued a lot of people's interest, and understandably so. But I think a lot of people have this misconception that, like, either you're a casual or you're not, like, or you just wake up one day and you are suddenly super, super good. Like, the fairy godmother of raiding just shows up and blesses you with a best in slot gear. But actually, that
is this a reference to how, like, there was that one post about how someone was mad that, like, that the ultimate was too hard, and it actually had a story they were interested in, despite it not being canon in any way? Was that post bait, chat? Because I initially wrote it off as bait, because a lot of people bait these days, and unfortunately it's at this point where it's such a mess that you can never tell if someone's baiting or not. It sounds like a bait. But anyway, I wonder if that's a reference to that. It's just like, oh. Like, man, it's not even canon. Like, it's a what if. Yeah. It's difficult to tell.
Kind of that's kind of what she did for Cinderella, now that you think about it. She got a mega upgrade in her gear, like, overnight. But that's usually not how it happens.
Cinderella bought her clear.
Normally, it is a really boring
That's how you get it overnight.
grind, and that's going to be true of any skill, like any kind of self-improvement in this world. We love to glamorize the pinnacle of achievement. Like, we love to glamorize the ultimate or the savage rating, but what we don't glamorize is the long road that it took to get there, and that is a road that you can step on yourself at any time. It's just an ordinary path of slow, incremental improvement, the day-to-day, the fighting dummy, the wiping on the trials, the normal, and very unintimidating, unimpressive failures that you've had, as well as all the little victories that have kept your engine running along that path, and all the lovely people that you meet along the way when you decide to pursue that path of self-improvement. So today, I just kind of wanted to make a case for why it's worth it, and why it is fun, and why the path towards becoming a better player is, for me, the path that I have found the most fulfilling in this game. Like, this is the path upon which I have found lifelong friends, and I just want to see if I can try to convince you to step on the path with me today, just to give you some reasons why it's worth the effort. So obviously,
like, before we go on, like, first off, like, I like this video because I think people do need encouragement to raid. A lot of people, despite my musings about PF, just bear with my hypocrisy for a second. A lot of people can get better and can do hard content if they want to. Once you adjust your attitude so that you're ready to fail and learn from it, you can go from being a fucking extreme farmer to ultimate raider in much less time than you think. So much of it is in preparation and attitude. And that's literally been proven by you guys coming into chat and telling me that I somehow inspired you to raid, which still blows my mind. But, you know, I'm honored that me fucking losing my shit in PF, or in this case, like, progging ultimate, and dying to Death of the Heavens for 8 hours, like, inspires people. And, you know, that really means a lot, because that's ultimately my goal, or one of my goals. And it goes to show that anyone can get into it if they want to. You have to take that first stepping stone. I play Machinist because of you. I'm not sorry. So when we have bigger influences like Zepla doing the same thing, getting on that path, and then telling people that, like, it's been a great for them, that's how you grow a raiding player base. You inspired me to unlock machine. Baby steps. Wouldn't be doing DSR if you hadn't helped me clear P4 and PF all that time ago. Bro, I'm not fishing for compliments. Like, you could have cleared that without me. You didn't need me there, but I'm glad I was there.
bragging rights, like, success is its own reward and all that. But I swear, after I start seeing people who have cleared the Dragon Song Ultimate walking around with their weapons and their titles, like, I am just gonna, like, slash grovel when I see them.
It's great because it teaches people that dying isn't a failure and success comes after hours of trying. It's the inspiring part. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, again, I've not been a really, really serious raider for as long as people think. I've only been more serious about it since, like, Verse Promise, maybe. I only cleared a tier week 1 for the first time this tier since being in a group capable of doing so. Like, you know, it's been as much of an adventure for me. You know, it's not like an everyday thing for me, is what I'm trying to say. And that's come after years of like improvement and getting better. Probably slower than most, actually, honestly. So, you know, it really is just about that perspective of like, you will get there. But you're the person that has to take that step.
Because these are literal god gamers. Like, this ultimate especially, I think it has raised the bar of prestige. Like, we've never seen anything this hard. And something like this requires just insane precision, perfect play. And yeah, it might take a long time to clear an ultimate, any ultimate, if you're starting from scratch, if you've never worked on improving yourself before, but nothing worth doing is easy. And if it was easy, it wouldn't be as prestigious.
You're wrong,
if
though.
it was easy, it wouldn't feel as good to get it done. And it is absolutely something that you can
Even
work towards. I would not recommend that you start with this. Please do not start with this one because it's nasty. Oh, it's nasty.
Honestly, right, this might be a hot take, but I think this is one of the best ones to start with. Because older ultimates now don't teach you how to do ultimate. Yukob and Uru doesn't teach you how to do ultimate anymore. This ultimate is already ripping apart groups left and right. Like, I would say Yukob and Uru are good intros to harder mechanics. I would say T is a good intro to harder execution. But they're all still a shadow of their former selves. If you can clear DSR, you can clear anything. Oh, my shoulder! Tango, thank you for the follow. Welcome. You know what I mean? Like, so that might be a bit of a spicy take. And yes, there's definitely a large gap between current Savage and this ultimate. Even as someone who hasn't cleared yet. Too few months to be able to normalize strats. Maybe. I've not seen too many different strats happening. At least not up until my point anyway. But maybe I'm wrong there. But anyway, like, I think if you really want the ultimate experience, then DSR is the place to start. Both mechanically and mentally. Doom servers available like last night. I actually saw that tweet, yeah. Is that actually true? Interesting.
But I mean, look, even Savage clears, like the Savage amount from the last floor of a Savage tier, it's pretty impressive whenever the tier is still current and not like an old tier you can just unsync and easily farm, you know. But this titles weapons amounts from the hard content in Final Fantasy 14. This is the...
So, chat, there is a tweet. Hang on, let me just grab it real fast. I think it's this one. Yeah. So the two furthest players with Doom will always get the circle tether on the PlayStation mechanic. I saw it here. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is where it started. Maybe not, but yeah. I read this yesterday. Can you link the tweet? Yeah, sure. Anyway.
Flashiest, coolest looking stuff in the game, and it's about glory. It's about earning your place in the halls of Stova Core, I guess. Another thing is that the better you are, the more stuff you can actually do in the game. Usually I recommend that people start with extreme trials and do them in the order in which they were released throughout the course of an expansion. You can also try the first Savage floor of a tier. That's usually not too bad, and it will build your confidence. It will like help you unlock the other Savage tiers. You see more and more things start to open up to you. Ultimate you unlock after clearing Savage. So it's a natural progression for you to do that. It will teach you about how rating works. It will teach you about rating mechanics and what you need to do to meet things like DPS checks, like basic concepts like that. And you have to do it. Like, you just have to actually get in there and do it. And people are naturally a bit resistant to that at times because it's scary. I understand overthinking it and just feeling like, oh, well, this can go wrong or that can go wrong and I don't know what to do. But when you're worrying about that, you're literally doing nothing. You're actually just sitting there stagnating, doing nothing, and
Yeah.
not going anywhere. You're not growing. You're not learning. It's better just throw yourself at the problem, because the fact is that
That's exactly right. This is what I've always said. Again, not a fucking hot take by any means. But how else are you gonna know if you don't try? And I've always said, like, when you're new, like, do the current extreme. I wouldn't say do all of them. But, like, do the current extreme, maybe the ones before it. Just anything in the expansion that's already out. Then dip your toes in Savage. And by that point, you'll have a good idea is if you really want to take it to the next level or not. Finding a group could be hard to find. I mean, we all have to start somewhere. Most people start in more casual groups unless you're with a group of friends that all want to go hard straight up. It's like a ladder in a way, but it's not like a competitive ladder. It's just a ladder in finding out how high you want to go. You know what I mean? It's all about personal accomplishment. It's not about comparing yourself to others, which I'm also guilty of, by the way. You know? But you should use other people's achievements at the most as like a goal to set for yourself. Because anyone can get there. But it's you that has to put in that effort. It's you that has to just take that plunge.
that's what rating mostly is. That's what hard content 99% of the time is, you just throwing yourself at the problem and learning. And you will get more and more comfortable with that. The thing is that I can actually sit here all day long and tell you, you've got what it takes. You can handle more than you think. You have more potential than you think. And I do believe that for every single person can do this, but that is not going to work. Like, not for the long term. If the problem is a lack of confidence, the only thing that will help you is actual experience in these fights and, working on your rotation, learning these basic concepts. You have to put in the effort, but it's not, it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's worth it. And it will boost your confidence a lot. And I'm telling you, when you clear these extreme trials for the first time, you're going to feel amazing. And you're going to say, I can handle this. And I can do the next one and the next one and the next one. I can do Savage next. The process itself is really fun because as you get better at a job, it will feel less and less like random button mashing, and it's going to feel more like playing a piano. The more you feel like the flow to your job, it all starts to become second nature. And for me, that's an experience that I never got in World of Warcraft, which is the game I was really hooked on before I found Final Fantasy XIV. Once you get a feel for your job's rotation to the point in which you can get in the flow of it, and it's just muscle memory, you'll see how beautifully and how elegantly that layers in to the boss encounter. Though granted,
it's the same with mechanics. Like, when you first get to a mechanic, it looks like a fucking mess, but the more you see it, the more you just kind of draw out a timeline in your head, and before you know it, you're doing it right every single time. Thought I would suck at Savage because I'm in normal content and still do. Turns out normal content is just chaotic. That is true. I still fuck up in normal content too. Why? Because you do it less often, so you don't remember it so well. It's more random. The focus isn't there because it's not important. So, like, there's a lot of reasons why people just fuck up in normal content still. Like, it's not something to feel bad about. It just happens. Playing with players that are better than you helps a ton. Playing with people better than you, like, hard as that may seem, like, it is a thing, and it does help a lot.
I'm usually layered into the floor. And in that process of getting better and trying harder content, like maybe even joining a static, you will inevitably make new friends, because there's just something about facing extreme challenges, fighting a horrible monster, like going through a rough experience with other people, that is bonding. As just human nature will naturally bond y'all together. Look at Harry, Ron, and Hermione with a troll.
Not entirely true. I will somewhat disagree here. Like, you either bond and get along well, or the group falls apart and you're all on each other's blacklists for the rest of time. It's one or the other, really. I really wouldn't say this happens all the time. But it can, yes.
or look at Han, Luke, and Leia with getting out of the Death Star, or look at Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli in the War of the Ring, and everybody else in the Fellowship also. Okay, maybe you're not going to be best friends.
These are bad analogies because they're movies and not real. And perhaps not natural representations of like how you might handle a situation.
With every single person inside it, but you'll probably make a couple of friends, is what I'm saying. Just don't be a Boromir with a lute, okay? And finally, if you happen to be a thrill-seeking type of person, if you are, like me, unfortunately cursed with a brain that constantly seeks excitement and dopamine, well, this can be a healthy outlet for you. The rating can keep the kids off the streets. And because actually it's a pretty good and addictive high that's much cheaper and healthier than other ways. I mean, there's really nothing like the rush of clearing a boss that you've been working on for a long time, or even clearing a phase, getting past some important threshold in the fight. It can be incredibly exciting. And when you finally see that boss go down, so good. And you hear everybody screaming in the comms. It's just this moment of joy and rapture that you will get addicted to it. You're like, okay, well, when's the next boss? Because I got to experience that again. That was incredible. That will propel you forward on your journey. It will keep you going, keep that engine running down the path. So like I said before, progress is gradual, but it is also not linear, friends. You will screw up, you will make a fool of yourself, and you will die.
That's me every day.
But as long as you don't give up, as long as you don't stagnate, as long as you don't have a little pity party, and you do look critically at your own mistakes first before pointing fingers. You just try to do a little bit better than you.
Thank you. Thank God someone else is saying it. Would you rather someone just admitted to their mistake and learned from it, or would you, or do you want them to make a billion excuses? There's only one answer to that.
Did before. Ask yourself, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better there? Then you're going to be well on your way to becoming a player that anybody would love to have on their team. A player that when you join the group, people are like, nice. There's that Giga Chad joining our group. Like, what a relief. Because here's somebody who cares and who does their best and who, well, we can count on them to at least try and to give their...
People do that when I join PF sometimes, and then they realize how bad I am.
Best effort here today. So that alone is a great achievement. I have made some other videos about how to actually dip your toes into hard content that goes more into detail of like, well, how do I find a static, and how do I check to see if my damage is good, and how do I do this and that, what's my biz, like all these basic questions I have covered in other videos. So I didn't want to get bogged down too much in that today. I'll just link to that below. I really just wanted to talk more about why it's important, why the path is so cool and fun and so rewarding, and why the effort is absolutely worth it. I said it earlier, but it bears repeating. Nothing worth doing is easy, and that's something that I try to remember all the time in many different areas of life. Buns, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free just by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow warriors of light. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for putting the message out there. As minor as it may seem, chat, things like that are important. Like, they really are. I think some people don't realize, you know, the importance of the fact that it's never gonna be given to you. And like, if you're an entitled fuck and you think you deserve the rewards for doing the hard stuff, then like, you're not cut out for raiding, and you also don't get to tell other people what they can and can't do. It's fucked up.